So we have
recording in progress.
Yes, I know. We have a tight timeline. Did you hear me? It was 9 or 2, and now it's 9:14, 13. Okay, so we have up next is Bo Maxwell Stevens of AI Fusion Insight, and his fun fact is that he got to be the drunk scientist or ask a drunk scientist at Burning Man and got to use scientific facts with a megaphone.
There I am. Yep.
You're in multiple places.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bo. It's my first time here, and yeah, I'm a full-time scientist at the USDA Agricultural Research Service, postdoctoral researcher. I got my PhD in environmental science from Northern Arizona University, focusing on big data and lots of complicated statistical techniques, and included a little bit of artificial intelligence, also known as AI. Notably missing from my graduate school was any education in business, so I hope you can forgive me about my lack of knowledge of anything to do with the business world. So I'm about to give you a short pitch on my hobby business that I started 2 weeks ago. I hope you're aware by now that AI has been in the news a lot, especially in the last couple of months. And I feel lucky with my background in programming and statistics and science, biological science, that I've been using these tools daily for the last 4 months. So I feel like as a part of my job, I'm lucky that I could transfer these skills from working for the federal government into the local community with this small consulting. With that background in mind, here's my brief pitch. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to read it because I didn't have time to practice. The title, well, I'm just showing you just some contact information, but the title of my pitch is Empowering Local Businesses with Artificial Intelligence Solutions. As a consultant with expertise in AI and data management, I'm dedicated to helping businesses, small businesses, utilize technology to remain competitive and fuel growth. Today, I'm excited to present AI Fusion Insights, a veteran-owned and operated consulting service based on implementing custom artificial intelligence systems for small businesses in Fort Collins, Colorado. In today's rapidly evolving landscape, small businesses rely on services such as finance, banking, media, marketing, legal support, and healthcare, and they must stay at the forefront of innovation. AI Fusion Insights can empower small businesses to harness the growing need for AI integration with their operations, resulting in improved efficiency, productivity, and profitability. Our services encompass AI installation, training, and ongoing support. We work closely with clients to comprehend their unique requirements, ensuring that AI systems are tailored specifically to their operations. Additionally, we offer personalized tutoring and training on AI language and art, enabling individuals to effectively employ these tools to achieve their objectives. Our target audience includes individuals and small businesses in Fort Collins seeking to implement AI language and art solutions to elevate their personal and professional growth. Furthermore, AI Fusion Insights will assist local businesses in developing bespoke AI art products, which can not only promote their brand, but also attract new customers and aid employees in visualizing and accomplishing their goals. In essence, AI Fusion Insights is a veteran-owned and operated AI-focused consulting service designed to help individuals and small businesses in Fort Collins maintain a competitive edge by harnessing state-of-the-art technology. Through our guidance on AI setup and training, clients can streamline operations and stay at the vanguard of their respective industries. My commitment lies in collaborating closely with clients, building resilient and influential businesses that cater to the distinctive needs of our community. Let's embrace the future together with AI Fusion Insights and stay ahead of the curve. That's my business pitch. I do have a couple of, let me know when my time, I know there's only 6 minutes. So. Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
I planned this yesterday, but just had a few examples. So AI, that's the abbreviation of my new startup, AI using Sense. We can create custom art products like the image you see here, and may look, you just glance at it like a real beer, but that is generated with artificial intelligence. You can create these. So I went to MythMaker and just plugged in their beer, the name of their beer, and this is what popped up. It's not real words, but it looks kind of similar. You can put words on there. So we can create, or we can train you on how to create custom art products, creative images, and even scientific illustrations. Part of my job as a scientist for the USDA is a lot of writing. And I found that these artificial intelligence tools cut down my writing by at least 50%. So it helps with creating initial drafts. You can just do minor copy editing, or you can even rewrite a document in the style of whatever language you want. Then there's social media. So lately I've been doing a lot of social media. Artificial intelligence can help you create posts with hashtags. That also helps with the images, which will all help you engage with your audiences with personalized hashtags. And again, all these images are generated with artificial intelligence. And then also for my job, I do a lot of programming. So AI can program in any language. I can do complicated math. We can train you on how to use these tools. And just as a quick example, I was assigned a task that after 10 years of experience in this field would have taken me about 5 hours to complete. I was able to complete it in 15 minutes with the assistance of these tools. So drastically increases your efficiency. So here's my contact information. You can scan that QR code and it'll take you to that website there. Thank you.
Right. Is there any specific feedback that you'd like?
Yeah, is there a market for this?
Brendon.
I'm not going to give you that feedback. I wouldn't tell you. I'll tell you, I just used ChatGPT to like write some of my marketing copy the other day. They're like, wow, this came out with crap and it. Really, the thing I liked about your speech, I like your authenticity, right? You're a smart guy. And you know, you're not faking the fuck, you're not putting out a lot of BS like I might. And just be the engineer, man. I mean, yeah, you when you memorize the speech, it'll get better. Yeah. But you know what? I like the authenticity.
Thank you.
Jana.
Congratulations on starting a company 2 weeks ago. Crazy. Welcome to the club. We appreciate that. Couple things for you in this. I can't identify who your target market is, and I think that's because you haven't identified who your target market is in this. It may or may not be broad at this point in time because of the 2 follow-up points I have for you. One, the majority of your business owners have a barrier to entry for using AI for 3 reasons. They don't understand what it can do for them. They don't understand whether or not they can implement things with it working easily within their existing workflows. And 3, they don't know if they can control the results they get out of it. None of those things did you address for them in this presentation, so they don't know specifically if this is even something they want to boil down into, let alone whether or not you are the person to help them do that. So you have the first product problem of convincing people they need the product, and then second, that you are the guy to help them create and deliver that product.
Yeah, I was working with Leaf Porter from the Small Business Development Center. I had huge help, by the way, the small business. I probably wouldn't have been able to start it so quickly without them. But she
won't pay you to say that.
The SBDC, by the way, in case you weren't aware.
I heard.
Yeah. So my suggestion to you is to go back and do 2 very primary things. Figure out who your customer segment is and then create your value proposition that your customer segment is actually.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what a value proposition is.
What value proposition is in the simplest of terms, it's the reason why people choose to use your company and not other people's company based on what you are going to provide to them.
So I have a resource for you since you have your note taker right there. Yes. $100 million offers by Alex Formosi. It's $1 on Kindle. It will walk you through the process of doing what you're going to just do. And it's quick.
You can also ask additional.
You could read it for you. What it says.
Summarize it in bullet points. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to reiterate that you started with global business, which I thought was really broad, but then you threw in individuals. And I was like, okay, it's everybody, right? And then you're not wrong, right? I think when you're not used to diving into business, you're just thinking, well, they all are going to be. But if you look at the flip side, what people will hear is, that's not me, that's everybody. And you want the person to hear, you're talking to me. And so the more narrow you get, the better. And it's not going to do what you might think in terms of excluding other people. If anything, it'll create more of a FOMO where people are saying, well, I wish I was in that. Fear of missing out.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I could start with breweries, for example.
Yes.
But not necessarily start with. Like, start with the end in mind. Like, is that who you always want to be working with? That was your example.
And it's not, don't start by going to sell to them. Because what you're doing that in that sense is also a very common. I've done this too, where you think, hey, I've got a solution. Let me go find that person to give it to, right? You're not ready for that yet. Go to the brewery if you think that's an option and say, hey, what are your challenges in the business? And you're trying to find if this would solve it.
Well, I'm in a position where I have a full-time job, so I don't really need to make money with this business. It's more of like a creative outlet for me. So
Then position it around that.
Looking for opportunities rather than.
Are you offering free consulting?
Because
I think there's a person who would take you up on your creative outlet if you don't want money.
I would like to do one or two free consultations to get feedback on how I'm doing about the consultation. So if anyone's interested, I have a business card here on a free consultation.
So just to build on what Eric is talking about, one of the things I think that's neat, especially if you want to use this creative outlet, is everybody's going to, say, hey, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? And you're going to get overwhelmed at something like this. And I think if you really do figure out who you want to work with and why, which goes back to what is the intrusion say about that you are looking. Because we talked about art, and marketing and so forth in there, but is that really what you want to do, or you just want to create? And I think you collaborate with people and just bring that out. So I think that's really important for you to get clear what you want out of it.
But the real first back of being a creative outlet, because creative outlet, a business is for your customer. Everything exists to solve a problem. You want to create an outlet, start a YouTube channel, create a blog, put content out there into the world and let people come to find you. Because that's you. It doesn't matter the quality, it doesn't matter the frequency. But if you really want to make a business out of this and solve problems for people and businesses, you have to think about it as a business, not as a creative outlet.
So the difference between a hobby and a business is that a business makes sales.
Sounds good.
And how you can become that. So maybe start.
Just saying, like, just want to make sure you're doing it.
Don't call it what it is. If it's not a business, don't pretend it is.
Yeah, it's an LLC. Like a business.
You gotta call it.
You can have a tax write.
I'm not trying to say, I'm just trying to say that they're very different mental space and they're very different progression of things that you need to do, like what you heard from John and a few other people on here. And that, so, yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Do you go by Dr. Bo?
Yeah.
Or no?
Sometimes. My science is Dr. Bo knows.
Wait, you should know that.
They just got made fun of. Oh, do you know everything?
Because, you know, go now.
You're up in the 80s.
Personal brand, by the way. You want to start a creative outlet? Still a brand.
For my science stuff, though, my bosses at work told me to tone down my artificial intelligence stuff because I work with farmers and they're a little skeptical. So
So it wasn't the main question.
So one comment, once you've had that beta or pilot client, then you can hone in on the story of what you help them solve, and that pitch will turn into, that's where you'll get more customers because they will identify with the story. I know you're not there yet because you're at the early stage. Question, can you talk a little bit about cybersecurity and AI? I don't know if this is applicable, but this is really coming to the surface at the SBDC. We'll have a cybersecurity specialist soon, and I get very skeptical around AI and what it means for businesses.
Yeah, I am not a cybersecurity expert. I've done a little bit of IT, but if you're using things like ChatGPT, and they're using that data. So
don't put your financial information in.
4,500.
Do that.
but it's
Spits out anything else.
Yes.
yeah, it can do your finances mostly for you. So and now that there's plugins available, so it can access complicated math algorithms. For example, I used it to stay within a budget.
No, but you do need to wrap up.
I'll answer your question. I wouldn't trust them with proprietary information.
Well, I noticed in your pitch, you were talking about social media, you were talking about graphics, very public facing.
Yeah, but part of I didn't go into this, but it's important to remove any sort of identifying information if you're putting it into ChatGPT.
All right.
And proprietary information, I wouldn't trust it with that.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much. All right, go ahead and grab your second cup of coffee. The next presenter will get set up, and I will again let you in at 7.
Thank you, Bo.
So I'm curious, why did you decide to start?
Well, I didn't realize in my work, these tools are really so fantastic. And I'm getting pushback for using them. Because I'm a scientist, so
I know. No, I was mind
thing. So the hard stop. But one of the things you might want to look at is what is it like about it? And then as you start to it's a part-time and well, that's because you know, and like it's not real. It's more of a transitional point. That's why if you go through this, then you're going to start to realize things that are really. I like.
That's right. It's like cover up the little profile. You'll get the blame for all the bad things I said.
Okay. I get it like farmer. I know.
Once in a while. Jenny, not the last one.
She already yelled. I know that hurt first. All right, so we've got our second presenter, your very own Brendon Sullivan, who we haven't seen in a long time, but we're glad to have you back. He is with Alterna Material, and Brendon's fun fact is that he's adopted. Enough said.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Brendon Sullivan. I am the CEO of Alterna Materials. I am not Jonathan Musser, as was pointed out there. We have a revolutionary new technology that we've developed that can reduce iron ore into iron, and does it in a green way. And it's extremely energy efficient. There's a problem in the worldwide steel industry right now. A couple problems. One, obviously, it's the largest polluting industry in the world, tied really with concrete, but it's a massive polluter. It counts for, depending on what numbers you believe, between 7 and 10% of global emissions every year. The second big problem is 10% roughly of all the production in the world is lost to fines, like this fine material where the iron ore just becomes too small for anybody to be able to process and use it in their machines. So it's a massive problem that's been piling up forever. And there is literally billions and billions of tons of this stuff sitting around the world. Right now, the global steel industry is roughly about $2 trillion a year. And the opportunity, think about 10% of that roughly is lost. Okay, so I mean, that's just a huge opportunity and nobody is doing it. And nobody's able to take care of that problem. So the industry solution for dealing, sorry, the picture's not coming up for whatever reason, but the industry solution for dealing with the problem of the environmental side is to create a product called direct reduced iron. Essentially, they're taking the iron ore, reducing high grade iron ore, and they're reducing it into these pellet products that they can throw into an electric arc furnace versus a blast furnace, okay? So this is using natural gas typically, or it uses like hydrogen, and hydrogen can actually be green hydrogen where you get to zero emissions. Although the environmental impact, that's actually much more interesting. This is what a traditional DRI plant looks like. They're massive. This would be like a Midrex or a HYL, two big players in the space. We're so much, I'll explain that in a minute. But I get all excited, you know. So we have a technology that addresses both problems, the fines issue and the environmental issue, okay? So this is a cartoon that we drew, so nobody spilled their stuff, but we can use fines as a feedstock, not pellets. So that eliminates the need for a pelletization plant at the front end of the system, massively energy intensive. We also have self-agglomerating material in the back end, so we don't need to brickhead it on the back. So we can just agglomerate it ourselves using a static electricity charge. We're the only ones who can do that too. We are modular. Because we use fines and because we have this very efficient setup, our system is about 6 feet wide by about 30 feet, 35 feet tall. And this thing is just a small fraction of the size of a normal system. We do 100,000 tons, but the scale, you just run these things in parallel. So the advantage is we can actually, produce these in shop, ship, and erect. Okay, and then what happens is you get an efficiency that is just massively, massively different from any of the competitors. The energy and use and the cost for us to produce is a small fraction. So right now, this is kind of where we're sitting in the process. We've actually developed a little nanoscale unit, and this year we were able to prove the controlled application of the heat to the materials, the metallization of various iron ores to at least 95%. We're going to get to 98, it looks like. Controlled delivery of powders and gas in the reactor, and this is the big deal right here. That is like nobody in the industry has been able to do that one effectively. And then we actually had a third-party review. We're getting a second third-party review just as confirmation here shortly. So The alternative business model is unique in the industry. Because we make these things in shop, we have a lot of banks around the world, like JP Morgan and the such, talking with us about buying these units. So we can go to the steel mills and operate these things as a service. So they don't have to worry about spending the traditionally $2 billion to set up a full DRI plant. No, with us, we'll come in, we'll clean up the back end of your fines to start, because there's all this waste that comes out. We're just starting, going in there, we'll put one up on the back, we'll handle your waste. We can be your primary processing tech. Let's not skip yet. We could be your primary processing technology, but at zero capital cost. So we're in talks with like ArcelorMittal, US Steel, Nucor, Tata Steel. We're in talks with so many folks around the world who are interested. They love this model and they love what we can do because we solve a massive problem for them. And it makes us a lot of money in the process. Okay, so here's where we're at. We're kind of right here right now. We just kind of proved that nano system. We're moving to the micro phase here. And then from there, we're actually doing a production scale, which is actually a commercial deployment. And we have, we're probably going to have 7, it looks like now, planted in the United States end of next year, early 2025. So this is our ask. We've got about 8 million of it circled right now. So we are in talks with Arcelor for an investment. Bill Gates has reached out. We have several other big name folks, but I'm not gonna bore you with that crap. But I do. So here's some of our main leadership team. We're the boring ones, but here's our top scientists. This guy Lee Nick is crazy. Like, I don't even understand this guy. He's brilliant. And then we have this Angelo Minetti guy here in the front who's actually coming to work for us. He was the president of HYL the second. So he's a good find for us. He's our industry guy. And my ask was to see, we're rebranding the company. I'd like you to see what you think of kind of the new look here versus what you just saw. I should have asked that in the front, but anyway, so that's the business. That's just an update, and love to hear your general feedback as well.
You're crushing it. I mean, obviously you've got the data and the experience and the validation, so that's really, really obvious. I think just some of the, it's a bit wordy, especially when you're showing your team and whatnot.
No doubt.
More directive. Even if you want to put words, then just put the one bullet point.
So we've had this issue at this company. I've never had this problem before. Usually simple is good. But then when you're showing people in the industry, it's all these freaking engineer types, even the management. Like, where's the data? And they yell at me all the time. So we haven't even really developed the simple because they keep yelling at us about that. So I get it. I have the same natural inclination.
Backup slides.
Yeah.
I'm fairly familiar with how iron and steel and concrete impact climate change. And so I was able to follow it. But I would say that if I was coming in and had no idea what you were talking about, it would have gone over my head. And so kind of tailoring each presentation based on who your audience is, I think is going to help a lot.
Were you one of our backups?
What? What are you talking about?
Like, did you get asked last week to present?
A couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Been working the mind
on things. I'm getting like he was
scheduled for today until like yesterday. So I was gonna give you a little like he just made it, but
no, I'm the loser who didn't prepare.
Did you have a comment? No, okay. Beth, did you have one?
I like the green better than the other one.
You want the what?
The logo you said, that's what you were looking for.
Okay. I'm glad because we were getting our balls busted about not doing the green.
I like the logo. I don't like the old exterior. I feel like I don't know how much that is inflated and what you guys are doing from a branding and marketing perspective. I feel this is very much giving like farming vibes versus something that's like actually industrial. Because greening industrial is really cool and really impactful. Like, I think you guys need to like just hammer on the fact of how big this problem really is and how much it contributes to. You talked about it, but like I want to see big like 10% of all human emissions are caused by this industry.
So you want to know what the interesting part in our pitches are about the environmental thing? This is crazy. Like you cannot say what you want to say in the industry.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, it's crazy. Like
you're tailoring the presentation of who you are.
So
if you're talking to the industry, if you're talking to them, you're talking about how much you're going to improve their processes to make them more money based on being able to reuse all the time and everything else, right? And also create a very economic model through the businesses or the manufacturing and service, or you consider you guys manufacturing? Is that what you classify it as, or what's
material? We're a materials company. Yeah, because we're selling output versus equipment.
I guess. Yeah, I think that's probably just building on the point of like feeling for the audience, but also for me, like I like the logo. I don't want to lose the fact that you're actually doing like really innovative tech in material processing, to the idea of like we have to throw the green fields out here, because this shit doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't matter, right? You're doing something really important from a materials processing perspective. I want to see that and see like cool tech in your brand.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I like your old logo. And maybe it is the green field instead, but it makes me.
I like it too.
But it looks like fertilizer.
So you know what? To answer your the picture is not as important. Frankly, this right here. And we are actually so what makes us unique on the energy efficiency side is we figured out a lot of proprietary ways of internally recycling energy, and it just creates a super efficient system. And so that's kind of what that looks like.
So, well, in this presentation, I would want to hear about the return on investment. What's the dollar value you're adding to your customer? Because it's huge. But then you're asking for funds.
Another thing we get hammered on is we're like, we don't care. So we know it's big.
So you got the typical branding problem that comes with having two major markets right now, right? So you are in the process of trying to look for investors who care about the environmental stuff. And on the other side of it, your actual customer, steel folks, who spent decades ignoring that environment.
Well, it's just that the technology wasn't there.
All the things, right? So you've got to balance that between the two pieces. I get it. What I'm not seeing in this is the key to affordable green steel for them is actually how much you help other steel manufacturers reduce their emissions to meet their pieces that they are going to have to meet based on Paris, based on a number of.
I guess I should have thrown that slide in there.
That would be because I mean you're dealing with the market, right?
To give you an idea. So we can eliminate emissions by 70 to 100% depending on configuration. We really get you to 100 because we actually have zero cost carbon capture.
Right. So here's the thing in that is that looking at both your investor pools and your client pools, that's where the money is to be made. Carbon capture pieces right now are so hot and so insane. And the capital investors are going freaking crazy about this stuff. So where is the green portion of it coming out in the rest of it? This isn't it. It's the dollars that are green. And you just get
right?
Lucky that it's
just to give you an idea to answer the question on the economics, one of our little 100,000 ton units is 35 feet tall, 6 feet wide. One of those things will generate about $18.5 million a year in revenue. We split some of that. I mean, there's a little split on that, but essentially we're pulling away about $12.5, $13 million, something like that, and net profit on our royalties. So we do very well for every unit we put out there. There's a worldwide market of about, I'd say, 3,000 of these things, and then we can also do about 16 other metals. So there's 1.6 billion tons a year of fines put out there in the world. So we have the ability to process most of that.
Where are you in the fundraising process?
We're about 8 million circle,
And how big do you want in this particular round?
$17.5 million.
Have you talked to the minister yet?
No.
Okay.
We've kind of gone outside of Colorado, frankly, because the pummeling you take on valuations in the state is ridiculous.
Okay. All right, thanks. Chris.
Just one comment from a branding perspective. I feel like the original logo had some personality to it, some uniqueness to it in terms of its form, etc. This to me feels much more generic.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I'm not entirely sure that matters based on your position in the market.
Just to like answer that question, it's like I agree with you and totally agree with you. The problem that we have, so this industry once again is very, I mean, these are very conservative people, right? Mm-hmm. And anything that looks out of the ordinary, like we got slammed on our business cards because they were like out there, colorful, and they're nice, and they were beautiful, and I loved them. So now I got to get a stupid white card, and it's like ridiculous. But you know, but to be fair, you got to sell. You got to get in the door with these guys. You got to look the part, and it's like, okay, now we can tell you how much money we're going to make you. And it's a very closed loop system. They all talk to each other. Like I got a call from BHP, the largest mining company in the world, the other day. Like, hey, by the way, we want to talk to you. Like, well, how'd you hear about me? Like, oh, we heard about you from a friend.
Yeah, rough problems having to give out the same.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
if land will get you in the door, if land it is.
You know what? And then they meet me and they realize I'm the crazy problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, real quick, just maybe focus who you're talking to, because I still can't tell, because you're saying they're either engineers and they're really technical, or they're on the finance side and are they also?
Okay, even the finance guys have engineering backgrounds. It is very, like, these are operators. Like our big backer in the last round, who's going to be in this round, is a bunch of coal miners who just want to go in the green space. And these guys, you talk to them and it's like, they don't give a crap about all the foo-foo stuff. They're like, tell me how much more efficient you are, give me the data, and go to hell. That's basically where they're at.
All right. Well, know your audience, and we want it to be pretty, because I look at this and I'm like, what are you hiding? This looks creepy. Like you're just out there.
Children of the corn.
Yeah. Like I didn't even notice that. All I could see was that, and I'm like, there's so much pollution being covered up by that picture. Okay. So thank you.
Looks like Windows XP, Bill Gates will approve.
We are using his products. He knows exactly what we're doing.
Well, thank you, Brendon, for coming back.
Thank you.
Who's got a win this week?
So Maine has a win, and I want to say Eric did an amazing job presenting to the Chamber of Fort Collins yesterday. They're so on board with what we're doing to help support chambers, and so we're in and love it.
All right, so who has a win? Who has a resource that we need to know about? Who needs help? You can raise your hand, Dr. Bo, if you like. I need some help. What do you need specifically? What do you want from people?
Feedback on a free consultation.
Like, and it's your sales conversation?
No, an actual live demonstration of how these tools would work.
They're looking for like small business that you want to help with.
Well, it's trying to wait business, but it's built on ChatGPT. Basically, I use that for my job every day.
So basically, who wants a free tutorial on ChatGPT?
Yeah, basically.
You want to just create like a.
So I could.
I'm just saying, like, I'm the one-to-many kind of person. Okay, I'll let you think on that. But if anybody wants to take follow up on that, that's what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. Resource. Yeah.
I think I've mentioned this once or twice before, but it's starting again The auto lawsuits that are happening in the country around whether or not your particular website is ADA compliant. I know another business here in Longmont that was hit with it, and it is going to end up settling that for roughly a $10,000 settlement plus attorney's fees with all of it. Yeah, it's stunning, it's lousy, but if you need that free resource to get onto your website, it is equalweb.com. Get your website in compliance now. They've been moving across the country. They are apparently done with the Eastern time zone, working their way through the Central and the Mountain Time. Get it done.
And it's super easy. We're talking like 15 minutes.
Yeah, but do it now because there is no recourse and there is no grace period to fix it. And another small business I know about. They're going after these small local businesses with lots of pictures on their website. If you're an e-commerce website, get it done. Yeah, the alt text is. Equal web is free. Go it is free, but then they do a next problem. Yeah. Mostly so. Yeah.
All right, what else? Who else has a win? Who else has a resource we need to know about? Who else needs help?
You win after that fire. There. Base cohort commissioner will graduate on May 3rd. We started with 26 companies, lost one to Parkinson's disease. I'm graduating 24 out of 25. Really?
I'm celebrating that I got from new clients. Very rich.
I actually got a couple of things, but I'll give you the one that's kind of exciting for the moment. We won a spot in the Colorado Miami Clean Tech Challenge. We're excited. We beat out all about 40 companies. Happy to make a final.
Flyers are over, but Casey did have their program last night.
This is a showcase? Yeah. Yeah.
No, a lot of people there made it out, thanks for coming out and supporting, but it was a fantastic event. A bunch of good teams got to present and they're really well attended, and yeah, it was a good time. So thank you for supporting if you're there, and yeah, look forward to the annual event, correct?
Yes, it is. Yep. Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Much classier.
It's yeah. I heard multiple people say that, hey, this kind of upscale.
Yeah.
Fancy.
From the days back when Laborjack first presented to now, it's stonewall.
It's really, yeah. I mean, it's a well-produced event. Everything is just, yeah, it's good stuff.
It's like I don't fit in here. Awesome. All right. The others. Going once. Going twice. Thanks for help.
So, sorry.
No, I was just like being an auctioneer, like repeating what the choices were.
So, I guess this would be an addendum to what I said about chamber. So one of the things that we've done with Maine is we've kind of much more focused on what problem we're solving. And so we've, instead of being everything to everybody, boiling the ocean, now what we're doing is really focusing in on helping chambers create more effective, impactful engagement amongst their members and within the community. And so the win yesterday with Ann Hutchinson, really excited about what we're going to be building and partnering with us as we do that. That was what I was referring to.
I have one more win. My partner Monica recently got her art on the beer can label on purpose.
You're allowed to announce your own win.
There you go.
Awesome. It is encouraged, yes. It's, you know, being an entrepreneur can be a lonely place. Somebody else has to Awesome. Okay, well, have a great week. We'll be here next week, same time, same place.
Thanks, everyone.